It was supposed to be a quick regional flight. Amanda Collins, a frazzled single mother of two from rural Kentucky, clutched her boarding pass and a worn baby bag, whispering silent prayers that her kids wouldn't cry again. After scraping together savings from her 2 part-time jobs, she was headed to Boston to interview for a nanny position, a long shot, but the only one she had. Her heart raced. The job meant stability, maybe a fresh start. But somewhere between the chaos of airport, security, and calming her toddler's cries, Amanda had boarded the wrong flight. She didn't realize her mistake until the plane was already taxiing. Her stomach twisted in panic, but her exhaustion won. Maybe, she thought, maybe they'd let her off at the next stop. Maybe it was fate. Beside her, a tall, sharply dressed man sat in silence. He glanced over once, saw her struggling to quiet her infant while juggling a bottle and a pacifier, and looked away. Amanda sighed, certain he was silently judging her like so many others. The rich suit types always did. But the man, Jonathan Pierce, wasn't just another businessman. He was the CEO of a billion-dollar tech company. And more importantly, he was lonely. Very lonely. He had boarded this early morning flight not out of necessity, but because he couldn't bear waking up alone in his penthouse another day. They didn't speak for the first hour. Amanda was too embarrassed. Jonathan was too guarded. Then her baby dropped a sippy cup at his feet. With a polite smile, Jonathan picked it up and handed it to her. "You've got your hands full." She smiled sheepishly. "Story of my life." And that was the start. They talked at first, just about the flight. Then, about kids, jobs, dreams, long abandoned. Amanda spoke freely, not realizing who he was, just that he was kind. She told him about her late husband, how he died in a factory accident when their second child was just a few months old, about her sleepless nights, her worries, and this last hope interview. Jonathan listened for the first time in months. When the flight attendant passed by, Amanda mentioned the mix, Jonathan raised an eyebrow. "You boarded the wrong flight." Her face turned red. "Yeah, I was supposed to go to Boston. This is headed to Chicago, right?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, it is." She buried her face in her hands, her voice trembling. "Oh God, I just ruined everything." And then something strange happened. Jonathan felt his usual instinct to retreat into indifference fade away. Instead, he found himself offering help. "Look," he said gently, "I know this sounds crazy, but I'm headed to Boston tomorrow. I have my own jet. You and the kids. You could come with me." Amanda stared at him like he'd lost his mind. "You don't even know me." He gave a small, broken smile. "Maybe I wish I did." Amanda hesitated. Every instinct screamed, "Don't trust strangers." But something in his voice, a quiet ache, made her pause. She agreed cautiously. That night, he paid for her hotel and arranged warm meals for her kids. He didn't try to impress her, didn't mention who he was. To Amanda, he was just John from seat 17A. They talked again over dinner. Shared laughter, old wounds, dreams. And for Jonathan, something in him began to shift. He had everything, but no one to come home to. She had nothing, but love overflowing for her children. By the time they boarded his private jet the next morning, the walls between them had started to crack. But neither of them were prepared for what was waiting in Boston. Not just Amanda's job interview, but a secret from Jonathan's past. One that would soon change everything. End of part 1. Part 2, a new flight path. The private jet touched down in Boston just as Amanda's nerves kicked into overdrive. She clutched her resume, wrinkled at the edges, while Jonathan arranged a car to take her to the interview. Her kids were safe with a professional nanny he trusted. He insisted. She hesitated, but he promised. "I want you to focus on yourself today," he said. Amanda didn't know how to thank him. No one had helped her like this, not since her husband died. Her interview went better than she ever dreamed. The family loved her. They offered her a live-in nanny position with benefits and time off. It wasn't glamorous, but it was everything she needed still. Her thoughts wandered back to Jonathan. That night, they met again. This time, in a quiet cafe near the Boston Harbor. Jonathan finally opened up. "My wife died 5 years ago. Cancer," he said quietly. "I buried myself in work. Built an empire, but it all felt hollow." Amanda placed her hand over his. "I'm sorry," he smiled weakly. "Until yesterday, I forgot what a real conversation felt like. What it's like to care about someone without a contract or an agenda." They sat in silence. Then she asked something no one had dared ask him in years. "Do you ever wish you could start over?" He looked at her. Really looked. Yes. But the moment was interrupted by a call from his board. A scandal was erupting. A company insider had leaked financial data, and the media was circling. Jonathan's world, once so controlled, was spinning. Amanda offered to step back. You don't owe me anything, she whispered. Asterisk, but he held her gaze. That's just it. I think I might. Asterisk, in the days that followed, Jonathan invited Amanda and her children to stay in one of his guest homes. Not out of charity, but out of something deeper, something unnamed. They became part of each other's daily lives. He taught her son how to tie his shoes. Asterisk, she made him breakfast from scratch for the first time in years. Asterisk, then, one night, Amanda overheard Jonathan on a call. Asterisk, she doesn't know who I really am, he said. To her, I'm just some guy who helped her on a flight. Amanda froze. He was hiding something. Later, when she confronted him, his face fell. I didn't want you to see me as a billionaire. I wanted you to see me. Asterisk, tears welled in her eyes. Asterisk, I did. She walked away. It seemed like the end. But it wasn't. 2 weeks later, Amanda received a letter in the mail. Asterisk, no return address. Just a handwritten note. Greater than Amanda, I'm not perfect. I've spent my life building walls. But you and your children, you made me want to tear them down. Asterisk, if you'll let me, I'd like to be part of your world, not above it. John Seat 17A, she cried, and then she called him. Months later, Amanda moved into a new home, hers, bought with her own income, earned from the job she loved. But next door, in a modest brownstone, far from his usual penthouse, lived Jonathan. They didn't rush things. They shared picnics in the park. Asterisk. He read bedtime stories to her kids. She taught him how to make grilled cheese without burning it. And slowly, they fell in love not with the idea of each other, but with the truth of who they were. The poor single mom who boarded the wrong flight, and the lonely CEO who'd lost his way. Asterisk, in the end. The wrong flight became the beginning of everything. Right. Asterisk. Asterisk, sometimes the wrong seat, the wrong turn, or the wrong flight leads you exactly where you were always meant to be. Asterisk, kindness, compassion, and a heart open to change can rewrite even the loneliest stories.